Thank you so much for taking your, allowing us just that short break. And as you can see, we just have 30 minutes, over half an hour, to the point where we have to speak about welcome the new week number 30. But to ensure that by the time you're speaking to welcome this new week, you're speaking from a point of information, you're pointing a point of empowerment, a point of understanding, wisdom, and conceptualization of all there is in the cosmic sphere. Let us look at the highlights of the new week. And these are unlike any other highlights. They're very, very significant. We're covering lots of detail here. So pay attention to them because it's everything, colors everything that is happening. Now, one of the things I spoke about is we're going to look at aspects, planetary aspects. These are special alignments that between yourself, where you are, anywhere you are in the world, a particular planet, and a celestial point in the heavens. So that planet and you, from a reference point, we can calculate a particular angle. And those angles have meanings. We are going to touch two this week. We're going to look at two of them, and that is squares and sextiles. What happens is that as we're doing now, we don't have a perfect square happening. So if you look at the write-up I gave in the announcement channel and in the knowledge base group of our global community on WhatsApp, is that we have what we call squares, perfect squares, and we have de facto squares. We have perfect sextiles and de facto sextiles. Now, de facto sextiles, we have a very big latitude on them. Because we are looking for specific doorways now in these weekly prognostications, we only, and I am realizing I'm falling prey to the very same sort of thing that I was falling to earlier, is that I'm giving you one display and then talking about another somewhere I'm not displaying, but I'm certain now we are displaying that point. We're talking about this particular aspect, and this is a sextile aspect, and that is between two planetary bodies, and that is Pluto and Mars. House 5 and House 7 is whenever you have these two, any planetary body that is in House 5 and another in House 7, that means exactly 2 houses apart. That means roughly 60 degrees apart. That's a sextile. That is a de facto sextile. But when they are exactly 60 degrees with an orb of plus or minus 3, that means it could be 57 all the way to 63. So within that range, then we say planet Mars and planet Pluto. It's not just planet, it's Pluto and then 2 planets, because these 2 are in conjunction, as you're going to see soon. Planet Mars and Saturn are in conjunction. We're going to look at that. It's happening later in the week, really the perfect conjunction itself, but already because of the orb that is there, they are on. This one is already ongoing. So that's why you don't see saying it starts or begins or it's already ongoing. We just did cover last week because, of course, last week we're not talking about aspects at all. And the other planetary aspect that is ongoing is that one concerned with the lunar ascending node or AC node. This you find it in celestial house number 6, and the planet Ceres, which is in house number 8. So again, these have a perfect sextile. They're separated by exactly approximately 60 degrees in the 2 what, and therefore that is an important aspect. Now, I don't know whether the next note has to do with just this another perfect sextile, and that is of planet Venus here. Planet Venus, which is in house number 8, celestial house number 6, it is starting. This is something that is starting. This is not something that is continuing. This is starting on Tuesday. So as we speak, the other 2 perfect sextiles are not in effect now, but are already in effect. They are continuing. But this of Venus and Vesta, the VE planet, it starts on Tuesday. So this Tuesday, that's when it begins. So because we're talking, these are the sextiles that are there. They are the 3 perfect aspects that are already in place, except maybe the ones to do with the moon. The moon goes into all manner of aspects, so the moon is very programmable, changes a lot. So the moon will go into all sorts of squares and sextiles and quintiles and oppositions and conjunctions. So actually for the moon, we only consider it conjunctions and oppositions with the planet, because we'll just actually have to look too many. We don't have the space and time to check all the alignment that she has with our. So these are the 3 sextiles that are there. So again, I come to the question, what does it mean? It means good, bad, neutral. Whether these sextiles are gateways that you can access for influence or provision depends on your profile. I'm sorry, that is my universal caveat, but there's just no other way. Without understanding your astrological profile, understanding these videos in time is really not of much use. There are some that are, especially the ones that have to do with the moon and the sun, because those ones don't have caveats. You can never be out of sync with the moon or the sun. Unless maybe you are, I don't know what I would say, you're bewitched or maybe you're dead. But so long as you're alive, the moon and the sun are programmable for you. And that is why you can schedule days on a calendar that is ruled by the moon and the sun. And things will happen. So we don't put caveats ourselves in our system. And of course, another thing, of course, that makes us different from other astrologers, and I'm not here pounding my chest and just saying as it is that we don't give these and tell you, oh, well, this is happening, do this. And they're giving them in a public way without requiring people to be profiled, without knowing your astrological profile. That's just not the way the cosmic machine, the creative cosmic machine that was created by the creator of the universe, was meant to work. It was meant to work with a particular, there's a time for everything. It can't be for everyone and everybody at any time. So this one doesn't mean the same for everyone. All these don't mean the same. As the same as we are talking about, this here is not an aspect. This is a transition. This is a transit, and it is of planet Mercury. It is going into Habizelda, and this is house celestial house number 7. This transition is happening. This movement is happening on Wednesday, the 27th of the 7th month of this year, the exact day of the midweek for us. So again, as usual, this can be good, it can be bad, it can be indifferent. Depends again on the pattern that is there in your astrological profile concerning Mercury. Concerning Mercury's phase, now it is a prograde morning star, and it is that means it's infrasolar and it's alignment. So what is that? What is the pattern for Mercury? Mercury has so many indicators. So can we go to your profile and look at all the indicators? Which ones are in agreement with this kind of alignment? Which ones are antagonistic to this? And that is the basis on which we can give you advice. Otherwise, this just becomes information that puffs you up. Let's look at the next highlight for the week. We're talking about planet Aries. Aries is very essential. It's not, Aries has very little programmability for individual unless what is specific to your profile. You have something very significant with Aries, but you can't really have much significant with Aries because Aries takes such a long period of time to make any change. So this is the solar conjunction. This is something that happens regularly, at least every year, of course. planet Aries will be in conjunction with the sun. The sun will make a whole cycle of the heavens. So we can be sure in the 365 and approximately quarter days that the sun takes to cycle the entire heaven, one of these times it will be close enough to Aries, and for about a week, less than a week usually, it will be within the neighborhood and it will have a conjunction for about 6 days. Also, the sun moves, remember the sun moves about 1 degree every single day, and therefore if you're talking about a number of 3 degrees, the number is how much allowance, how much latitude you're given to consider a certain alignment as being in effect. And that means by the time the sun moves about 3 degrees behind Aries, already the conjunction starts. And then the sun moves each day about a degree, each day about a degree. So after 3 days, it's in perfect conjunction. So if this one's starting on Wednesday, you can be sure the perfect conjunction of planet Aries with the sun. This is just a basic understanding. I'm teaching you to be an astrologer here. If you hear something, a solar conjunction is happening in a day, except with the moon. The moon is a different matter. Especially with a very slow planet, outer planet. Starts on a particular day. Then you can be sure it will take about 3 days to reach perfection, and therefore means the perfect conjunction is certainly going to happen on Friday or Saturday thereabouts. And then after 3 days, that is by Monday of next week, Monday, Tuesday, this what will have ended. So it's just a basic what you don't have to check. We just know from the motions of these planets how it happened. Aries, we know from last week, had already started inching towards the border between house number 7 and house number 8. But that is not very significant because, of course, Aries is not a zodiacal planet. I'm looking at the time. We have 19 minutes. So let's go ahead. We have so many things to cover. We have to rush now. Or we go to speak to the new week and then come back and finish this. The next highlight here, 28th on Thursday. This is major. This is significant. This is a top press kind of event. And I tell people, these are the significant ones. You hear always, one of the most common questions that I've been getting for years and years is there's a planetary lineup. Because I can tell you there are cloud chasers here on social media who just want to give you something sensational. Because we have not been commenting on the live, what I have not been looking to see, but thank you, because I continue to see that there are people who are joining us. The only problem is that I can't tell who they are. It's really good to know who you are, because I see, according to us, there are still 6 people who are following us, which is like the highest we've had on stream. So please, let us know if you joined us. If you join us, please just type something in the chat. Let's know who you are. It's very, very important for me. It's very, very important for me. I want to know who are the fans of this world, because we want to grow this channel. We want to grow this sort of outreach so that it can become what it is meant to be. It's meant to be the most influential thing happening in the fabric of time now, over these 6 years and the years that are to come. So as you're building towards that momentum, need to know who it is that is with us. So as I said, this is very, very significant. This is not just a planetary item. The reason why you not find it on Instagram and X is because it's happening very, very close to the sun. And that means it is not viewable, really. It is happening during the day. You can't see these planets. They are so close to the sun. They are very same celestial house as the sun is in. So you'll hear it's nothing important. So as you can see, actually at this point in time, these are not just the 5 planets that we find. That is these are the 5 of them. We are starting with the waning crescent moon. We are coming to Mercury. They are arranged here by their importance. And and then we have planet Mars, and then we have planet Saturn, and then we have planet Neptune. So these 5 of them, all these 5 planets are in conjunction. But because you cannot be able to literally see, they are not happening in the night sky, but the daytime sky. In astrology, it is not, the spectacle is good. So if there's a spectacle, it's good, we can be able to look at it. But it's barely the most significant thing. You don't have to be able to see what is happening for it to have significance. But what's important here, these are the 5 planets, that are in perfect conjunction. And this is happening on Thursday. The most significant thing is actually they are not just the only one. Because as he looked and saw in that planetary map, is that there will be, the sun also is in this house. And the sun is in this house, and we have also planet Aries. So imagine how many of the 16 planets in our what? Imagine 7 of them, almost half of them, are within one house. And 5 of them at this particular moment in conjunction. Actually, the last time I saw something as significant as this, I think is when we were starting actually our year. And again, it was not mentioned in social media circles because it was taking place too close to the sun. And therefore, there was no nighttime spectacle. Usually, evening time spectacle. People look at them, and that is what gets sensational, all the sensational posts on social media. But this is significant. 7 planets within a particular house is not something small, especially we consider the moon is there, Mercury is there, Mars is there, Saturn is there, and the sun. Of those 7, 5 are major planets, 5 of the major planets. So only planets that are not involved in this is Venus and Jupiter. Venus, because it just left quite recently, it's in house 8. So, but you see, it is still actually in the very same neighborhood, but it's ahead of the sun. It's an evening star. It's an evening star. But the rest of them are behind the sun, and they are congregated together. You cannot be able to see them because they're in the daytime sky. They'll be in the daytime sky. But it is important to know that that is happening. And this is a special moment. So now, this is something significant because I usually say, when you look at planets, it depends on your profile. That's what, as I said, not a couple of minutes ago. But this one, remember, it involves a crescent moon. The sun is not very far away. So this one cancels just about anything. So this is something that is almost certainly to be universal. Because even if you may have certain disagreements with Mercury in its planetary phase that it's in now, which is the infrasolar or morning star, then Mars may not be, it will cancel out. That is the nature of what we do in our prognostications. If you have, because when planets are actually in perfect conjunction, that means any one of them can act like the other. So you can almost certainly, this is something that is universal. This is universal, let us agree. Because nobody can have anything that will contradict what is happening or whatever you can do here. And you can do literally just about anything. This is something that you can use. So this is, we're looking for a significant day. This week, there is no more significant day than Thursday. Thursday is special, one of a kind actually, because of this planetary alignment. The last time, as I said, we have seen and witnessed and profiled this was in the 5th month of our first year. Remember, do you know where that was happening? Again, this sort of congregation, that time, actually all the major planets were there, except planet Mars. All the 6 major planets were there together in one house. That is in Cabell. And that was one of the markers of the age. And this is a marker for also the priestly transition that we have entered into. So this is significant. If you have a day that you need to take note of, is Thursday, the 28th of our 7th month. Sorry, when I don't use Gregorian calendar dates in our chart because in these posts, you'll not see me posting Gregorian calendar dates. Maybe sometimes I put them in brackets, but I don't like them. So, but of course, because we're talking about this week, you know it is this week, it is the last of this week in our calendar, is number 20, it is 28. Now we are coming very, very close to the start of a new day. It's 11. Please, if you do have something you'd like to know about this, so this is like the major highlight of the month of the year could be for us in a commemoration. So, what else is happening? I think we can look at least another one more highlight. The closer we move to. Oh, now we come to the final. We'll be able to do all our prognostications. So we are looking at the moon. As I said, the moon is one of a kite planet. It does so much, and therefore we cannot, that is why we put its alignment and its highlights in one page so that you can look. And here we have 5 of them. We have 5 of them. The first one is already in place, and that is the planetary conjunction of the moon and planet Pluto. I know we did note it last week, but you should have noted it because it started in the week that is ending. So it is going to end on Sunday. Actually, it is very nice. Now, something we have added here, we've added 2 more columns here to this table of lunar alignments, and that is to talk about the nature of that event. Is it instantaneous? Is it eddy? Is it static? So that is what I mean by the nature. So how can we describe it? And then we talk about what lunar cycle. The moon is the most complicated of all planets. It is the most programmable of all of them. That is why I don't like the Gregorian calendar. Because the Gregorian calendar totally ignores the moon. And it just gives us the moon, the sun which is good for standard, but it's so static. There's nothing more dynamic than the moon. If your programs are only done on the Gregorian calendar, what I can tell you is you're missing out on virtually all creative opportunities, because the moon is the one that carries programmability beyond that of the moon, of the sun. It's the one that keeps shifting with the darkness and light, especially. The sun is always. Actually, we say that light is the sun, by the way, in our system, and this can be contradicted. The sun is the embodiment of darkness, but it is standard. It does not change it between light and darkness. It's the moon. Moon is the one that's programmable. So here we are starting with that conjunction, subprime conjunction. We have, and that is in the tropical cycle of the lunar. The lunar cycle can be tropical, it can be draconic, it can be synodic. So that is why we are saying good short. The most visible cycle that we know is the synodic cycle. And I don't want us to go too much far. We have 8 minutes, so I want to finish this very quickly. And let me just look at this draconic one. The draconic is the cycle of the moon that is traced by its in relationship to its nodes. Now, the tropical and the draconic are actually just about the same. Okay? Because we are talking about the sun, how the moon moves across the zodiac houses. The synodic, we are looking at how does it relate to the sun. Is it a new moon? Is it a waning crescent? Is it a waxing crescent? And through this week, by the way, the moon is a waning crescent up until the day of the conjunction. That is happening on 29th, the Friday, the 29th of this month. And this is something progressive because it takes place over hours, sometimes even almost throughout the day. And it's in the synodic cycle. Usually the moon will do one synodic transition or change within a week, and usually a lot more because it can take about 8 days. So this is the important ones. Let's look at another tropical. What is happening on Thursday? Thursday happens to be a very, very important day as it is. You can see the ascendant equatorial transit. The moon will be doing that. This is equivalent to what we call an equinox. So we have not got a very good way of describing it in terms of the sun. We have lunar solstices, which map very well with the solstices of the sun. But the equinoxes, this is like an equinox of the moon. happening. It's the very same thing that is happening on when? On what happened at the beginning of the month, the ascendant equinox, because the moon will be aligning, it will be transiting up across the celestial ascendant creative gateway point. It is 13 years and it's on the tropical cycle. And then this conjunction, of course, we've already talked about, beginning on that day between the moon, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune. It starts that day. What I've not calculated exactly when it's going to end with the moon is within a matter of about 3 days. The moon will get along with its other business. We have about 6 minutes now. But as you can see, there's so much packed into this week. There is so much promise. There are so many influential gateways that are there. But I can tell you which one specifically, other than this one, that I can tell you, I can guarantee you, is almost certainly going to be universal. And this other one, because it involves the sun and the moon, these ones, they don't have any taboos, they don't have any caveats, they don't have any provisions. You can make use of them. They are universal. You don't need to look at your profile first to understand that. So basically, just the things that are happening in the synodic and the tropical cycle of the moon. But the others, you need your profile. I cannot, as I posted, I cannot overemphasize just how important it is to get your profile, you get to understand it. And we are coming now to about 5 minutes to the start of the week. The sun is about to align with the horizon at Townet. Prepare yourselves. I'm giving you another 3 or 4 minutes to prepare, to think about the things you'd like to do this week in light of what we have talked about, and then we meet together, speak to that moment, and as we enter boldly into week 30, be guaranteed, be certain that we have programmed what needs to be programmed for our influence, for our provision.